Hello and welcome back to Factorio C Block. Last time we set up some algae farms and started making some basic algae and then turned that into these little cellulose fibers so that we could make it into our first automated fuel for power. And we're going to actually have to start feeding that in here pretty soon because this got backed up again. We're going to have to figure out how to get it over there. That's the challenge. And that's where the challenge and the puzzle comes in of this game a little bit, is how do you route stuff in so that you can get it around everywhere. We'll figure that out at some point in the future. For now, we're just going to keep things going. I am going to still keep making some wood offline, but I'm not going to do it during the episodes because they tend to just get in the way. Because I always forget something here or there and they get in the way. I made a couple of changes up here. I shifted all this up once so that I could add a second power thing in here. And then I made a couple of changes here too so that these guys are going 3 at a time. Even though they're paused for a little while, it might be... Actually, it's probably okay to go back down to 2. I was trying to get as much in there as possible, but I think it's fine with 2. They're still pausing with 2, so I think it's fine. And these all got backed up because I only had the 1 there, so that's another potential issue. But we'll deal with that another time. So today we're going to work on automating landfill because I have used all of it. This bit down here, not counting this smooth bit here, you can see how it's a little smooth of texture, was all landfilled. And the smooth stuff here is an island, one of those islands. And on this island we find some, some other resources. And I'm just going to have the bots pick that stuff up because I'm lazy. And what we find here are Nilau Bergine, Prime Dedelian, Binafran, and Desert Gardens. And this stuff is used sometime later. I don't even know what it's used for yet, because I'm not that far ahead in my test game, but I'm far enough ahead. So in order to automate landfill, we need to automate mud first. And so I've built a plan here for Hellmod for making landfill out of mud. And what I'd like to do is use these washers and each step of the washer. And then we're going to have enough mud to make 0.23 landfill per second, which is hardly any, but that's fine. We'll get there. And then saline water, which we're going to have to actually sink, and I forgot to make the thing to sink it, and hydrogen sulfide gas, which we're also going to have to, actually in this case, flare. We're making all that off of water and viscous mud water. And viscous mud water is a new item that we get by building one of these seafloor pumps. Actually, let me pin this first. One of these seafloor pumps here, which will scoop mud water from the bottom of the sea. And then I also need to make, whatever I said it was, a clarifying pool here to get rid of the salt water for now. We're going to use it later, but for right now I'm not going to bother using it. So we're going to use these recipes, not that one, but these recipes here for mud water, different stages of mud water. Heavy, concentrated, light, thin, and saline water. Each step produces 0 to 3 mud at a 50% chance. So you can kind of do an average calculation on that of like 0.75 maybe per process, and you end up with somewhere in the neighborhood of a few mud per second. And then these 3 recipes here for clay, limestone, and sand, we're going to save those for later, but they also use one step of each of these processes to use that stage of muddy water to make the things. And then finally sand is made from thin mud water, and then saline water is used for something else that we don't have yet. Then we can turn that mud into one of 6 different kinds of landfill: dirt, dry dirt, grass, landfill, desert, and sand. And you can do whichever one you want. I'm just going to do grass because I like grass, but you can use any of those you want if you like one color or the other or whatever. And then also, just as a point of reference, somewhere else here, there's also a sand landfill from crushed stone. So if we had needed it earlier, we could have, say, made landfill from some of this crushed slag by crushing the slag into crushed stone and then turning that into landfill if we wanted. But I'm going to make it from mud because I like the grass and or the dirt. I mean, I could use dirt or grass myself. I don't want the landfill because that's that craggy looking weird stuff. Desert and sand, we've had enough of that already. So let's go ahead and start laying this out. The first thing is, of course, the seafloor pump. That can go, it looks like, in 2 different spots here because of space reasons. I'm going to go ahead and put this down like that. But we're going to actually, you know, need to connect this thing up at some point. Let's also get rid of the flashy up there because it bothers me. Then we need a bunch of these washing plants, and I'm going to put one there, and we're going to see where this goes with stage 1. Viscous mud water and water, making mud, heavy mud water, and hydrogen sulfide gas. This will need water in, so we're going to have to bring water in. I thought about bringing it down from here, but I think what I'm actually going to do is just do another pump. Another offshore pump for it. And we'll just kind of split our pipes. I don't know where we're at with water usage right now, but we're eventually going to need this, so we might as well just do it now. And so we'll do a pump here as well. And then we're just going to need a bunch of these pipes to connect that up. And we'll need power, of course, to connect that up. And this is actually almost a good spot. I want to move it down by at least one space. Yeah, one space. So that's good. At least I planned it ahead of time a little bit. And then we just need to keep going. I'm going to actually use the Hellmod pipette tool to take the recipe with. And then we just need to rotate it so that, let's see, water's on the bottom. And the right kind of mud water is connecting the right kind of mud water here. It's a little hard to tell the difference, but water should always be on the same side. So if you have that going, you can always follow the path with the arrows here. And that's kind of the easiest way, in my opinion, to figure out which way these are going. Because they're a little bit tough to see. But you can match the icons if you're looking close enough. This one, make sure your alt mode is on, of course. And then this one is very, very just brown. This one has a little bit of blue in it. This one has a little bit more blue in it. This one has... Get out of the way, bot. This one has even more blue in it. This one's almost completely blue. And then finally here, this one has... is actually gray because it's salt water, saline water. And then on top, you'll also see the same output as the side. And we're going to use those later, but we're going to rebuild this before we get to that point, so I'm not going to worry so much about it. We're going to need to flare off the hydrogen sulfide gas for now. We'll use it later, but for right now, we're just going to leave it alone. We need to connect up all the waters, of course. That'll go to there. And at the end, we need to use that clarifying pool we made to just, for right now, sink all of that saline water, which is kind of a bummer because it's actually useful. You know what? I screwed up. Okay, I'm going to move it again. So much for that. I should have just moved... I almost moved it 2 to begin with, and then I said, no, I don't need it. I did need it. Alright, so then we want to have an output belt here someplace. Need more belts. That, and then we need a bunch of inserters to outsert from each one of these machines, because each one of these machines is outputting some mud. It's not a whole lot, as we showed a little bit ago, but it's some. And then we'll do one there, one there, one there, one there, and one there. And those will all make and output mud. You can see these 2 have kicked off already. They're already green. This one's now going, and we have some mud. This one's green now. And you can see sometimes they did 2, sometimes they did 3, sometimes they did 1. Sometimes they do none. And then we have a little bit of saline, right? Saline? Yeah, saline water getting dumped into the clarifier. And I think I mentioned in the first episode, or maybe even episode 0, I don't mind wasting stuff here when everything is basically from nothing anyways. So I would rather not have to, but it's part of the mod, so we're going to do it. And then I guess I could have done this instead and set the recipe while I was setting everything else. And then we're just going to have a inserter. Let's do that. And let's grab a power pole over here, right there. And then I just want another box real quick. And this will make us a bunch of landfill. And that's going to be useful because, well, we need more land. So we need to fill this in. Let's see, box, there you are. I'm just going to put the box here for right now, I think. And we can move it around later if we decide to. And I'm not going to put a limit on this. We're just going to make a crap ton of landfill. And so power now, let's take a look at power real quick. We have 5.4 because I added another one of these. Interestingly, the amount of power you get from these is the same as the amount of power you get from 2 of these. So that's 1 unit. This is 2 units. That's 3 units. Each one worth 1,800. And that makes 5.4 or 5,400 kilowatts. So that's kind of a good power number there. This is doing better, but I got backed up, and now it's bothersome. But it's okay. They are working as hard as they can to make as much fuel as they can. Later on, this will get gobbled up in no time. But for now, it's actually kind of okay. And then we have a lot of landfill coming in here. And this machine is just barely keeping up. And that inserter's just barely keeping up. It's almost perfect how much mud it uses versus that. And so eventually we'll use this mud for some other stuff too. And actually, that's going to get coupled with this compost later. But for now, it's just kind of a bit of mud making a bit of dirt to fill in. So what I'm going to do now is, once again, leave this episode here. I'm going to pick out the next things that we're going to research, and maybe I'll do some of those off camera, and then we'll come back in, and we'll set up the next thing, which I think is actually going to be just an expansion of this production, so that we can automate some other things. But we need fuel again. Oh no, we need fuel again. They give you a bunch of, although it's probably not going to be enough. I may end up doing a little tweaking here just to get this thing working a little bit faster, but I'll see. Actually, you know what we could probably do to tweak this? We have this available. We'll do this now. We have it available. Where is it? This we do. Electric ore crusher. We're going to do that instead. It's faster, I think, or is it not faster, actually? It's 50% faster. We're going to do that because then I don't have to worry about stuffing fuel into the thing. But we need to do this first, and then that, and then now it's a bit faster, and it's going to produce a lot more stuff. I don't know if I need to adjust the inserters on it or not. I don't know if these two will keep up or not. They're not. So we're going to have to make some changes to the inserters, but we can't with the way that I have this laid out. So I may have to make some changes elsewhere, but we can do that another time, or I can do that off camera and show it in the next episode. So thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.